Alright, so what we're going to do today is subtracting integers on a number line. It's a pretty weird concept because subtracting integers is fairly odd. What does it mean to subtract a negative number? And it can be difficult to visualize it unless you use something like a number line or the tiles that we've been working with. So to add integers, let's just review that quickly. Adding integers. For adding integers, we have some steps to do. The first step was put your pencil at the first term. Okay, so if I were to do, say, -2 plus -3, I'd put my pencil at the first term, which is -2. Okay, and then for adding integers, you'd simply, if you're adding a negative integer, or if you're adding a positive integer, go right. And if you're adding a negative integer, you're going to go left. Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. If you're talking about -2 and you're adding -3, you're getting further away from 0. So we start off at the -2, we're adding -3, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 places to the left. So our answer to this problem is -5. So that's adding integers. But subtracting integers then must be fairly different. If I were to change this problem to subtraction, you shouldn't end up in the same place. So you must have to do something different. And so that's what we're going to talk about, doing something different thinking. So if we have a problem such as -2 minus -3, obviously it's going to be different than if we had -2 plus -3, like I just showed you. We're going to be doing something radically different. Subtracting is the opposite of adding. So here's where we need to enter into opposite world, where cats chase dogs and night is day and so forth. So opposite world, exclamation point. We're going to start off the exact same way. We're going to start off, put your pencil on first term. And that makes sense because we're going to be subtracting from that. It makes sense to start there on the first term. Okay, in this case it's -2. Now, instead of adding -3, and we're clear, oh yeah, if we were adding -3, we'd go 3 to the left. We know negative, you go to the left. But this is an opposite operation. We're not adding, we're subtracting. So you have to do the opposite of what you'd normally do. So when you're doing subtraction on a number line, if you see a negative, if you're subtracting a negative, which way are you going to go? You're going to go the opposite of normal land, of normal world. It's opposite world. So we're going to go 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. You can see that I end up on +1. Okay? Because when you're subtracting, you're doing the opposite of addition. You're going to go the opposite direction on your number line than you would have for addition. So in addition, we'd go to the left. If we're doing subtraction, we're going to go to the right for a negative integer. I know this is a hard thing to think about, but let's look at it with something we're a little bit more accustomed to. Okay, let's say we have something like a really easy problem you've been doing since you were in elementary, +2 minus +1. Okay, normally, as I said, you always go to the first term, +2, and you know you're going to end up back over here, right? Well, let's see what that looks like. If you were adding, you would have gone to the right one. But we're subtracting, so we go to the left. Even though this is a positive integer, we're going to go to the left. So we go 1 to the left, and there's our answer, +1. Example, -3 minus -5. The rule is you go to the first term on the number line, which is -3, and then you're going to subtract -5. I'm going to have to pause this, we're running out of time. We'll continue it in part 2.